Thank you for being with us on this Wednesday. I'm Dia Wall.
And I'm Matt Howard. We want to get to meteorologist Greg Fields, who is standing by to walk us through the storm chances still ahead in North Texas today.
But first, before we get that forecast, we've got team coverage on the destructive storms in North Texas.
Both meteorologists Mario Ruiz and Chris Sadeghi are out in Mineral Wells, about an hour west of Fort Worth, to show us the damage on the ground. And we will start with Mario.
Matt, Dia, good morning to you. We are in Mineral Wells, just north of Highway 180, and this is a small community that was hit in a big way, and we can just tell driving up here. I mean, we saw damaged residences, we saw damaged really industrial buildings as well, some that had metal structures that were down, and that is consistent with a high-end EF2, low-end EF3 tornado. And I want to show you just some of the destruction that we are looking at here. You can see some of the down buildings here, the destruction of walls. I mean, the roof's completely gone, and an outer or exterior wall kind of caved in there, and that itself is made out of metal. Again, that's pretty consistent with EF2 damage, so that's something that is quite significant. EF2 damage, by the way, high-end EF2 is about 135 mile-per-hour wind speeds. And I want to show you something else that we can safely see from here, and it's this tree that was snapped. You can see it on the top third of this tree. Very often you get these high winds, and the leaves of trees act like sails of a sailboat, catch onto those winds, and that force is what causes that snap. So that's also consistent. Just on the right-hand side of that, you can see a tree kind of on the opposite direction, fallen on the opposite direction. That's consistent with winds that are rotating. So that is another signature that we look for when we're looking at tornado damage. And here's what we know as of this morning. This morning, officials say 2 people were hurt and taken to the hospital, but there have been no reported deaths. Mineral Wells ISD says schools will be open today, but students dealing with damage at home will get an excused absence. And the National Weather Service is expected to be out here today surveying the damage. I just spoke to them this morning, by the way. That's expected to occur around 8 in the morning. I also want to show you some of the damage about 10 minutes east of this area in Weatherford. Just take a look at what's left of this mobile home. The man who lived here said he was lying in bed, and before he could react, his roof blew away.
This is what it looks like. And that's where I was.
You were in that room?
I was in that room. I was sitting on that bed. And they said, take shelter. I stood up and I was like, there's my roof. There's my underpinning. There's my porch. There's my roof over there in that tree.
We're happy to report that he is safe and actually just got away with a scratch. I want to now take you over to Chris Sadeghi. You're in a similar area. I mean, this damage is pretty widespread. So what have you seen this morning?
Well, Marielle, in addition to the damage you just talked about, we have seen a lot of the big Encore trucks coming and going. Now, a reminder, Mineral Wells overnight was really locked down, placed under curfew. That curfew lifted just a few minutes ago at 6 in the morning. But the effort today, getting the power restored and also helping those folks that are currently displaced out of their homes. Take a look at this video from yesterday. Much of the damage happening out to the northeast side of Mineral Wells, like in this neighborhood where we could see just how violent this storm was. We had roofs ripped off of homes. Others had their windows smashed out. Trees, debris scattered all over. That's why the curfew was put in place, because it's still a very dangerous situation to be out there walking in these damaged areas where you do have down power lines, especially in the dark. We did speak to some of the people that live in that neighborhood, and one man whose home was heavily damaged described hunkering down as the storm tore his house apart.
My wife and I had been on the back patio because they had told us that it was actually by the lake.
Yeah.
And so we'd gone on the back patio, and then it got real windy. We started seeing debris, which I guess from the neighbor's house. We had time to shut the door, and then it hit, and all of our windows were busting, and debris was just flying around in our living room.
Yeah, another man in that neighborhood said it sounded like a train was running through the street right outside his home. Now, we'd got the latest update on the damages and the injuries last night. we're expecting another update from officials here in Mineral Wells at 11 o'clock this morning. Again, the good news right now in all of this, no deaths confirmed at this point. But Greg, we will stand by for that update at 11 o'clock this morning. For now, I'll send it back to you.
Yeah, we'll get to see more once the sun comes up, and the National Weather Service, again, will be out there. So we will get those official ratings on what the damage was a little bit later this morning.